Do you have Alfred? Do you have theology?
Yep. Only 1 point there.
Joseph, do you have theology?
I've got theology as well. Maybe we can all look at it.
You're mute.
I am. I don't think I have.
I wouldn't imagine Joseph's a theological.
No.
Well, it's interesting. It is definitely. There's an underlying pagan ritual that has been laced with overtly Christian references. The Christian bits kind of that acting as that like patina atop of the ritual, very much bouncing along the top of the more pagan chants, though it's very hard, even with your occult knowledge, to work out what that underlying ritual really was. Do you think that there might be overtones or reference suggestive of a forgotten deity in the more ritualesque parts? Perhaps Golgoroth. And it seems to be the ritual is very, very, very hard for you to kind of figure out. The best you can tell is this is a very bastardized, a very modernized, very different, although the basic tonality and a few of the key phrases of the original ritual you think still exist, the majority of the ritual and of course the overlying Christian references and symbology is very modern and has very much corrupted whatever this thing was originally. But the people are participating. They are chanting, smiling. They're very different from when they came into their demeanor now, as this ritual is kind of coming up to a crescendo and then kind of breaking. And then gradually, as it reaches this crescendo, it then just fades out. And people begin to mill, begin to talk, clump up in groups, and some of the groups begin to just drift away. Seems that 30, 45 minutes.
The people that were carrying out the ritual.
Yeah.
What do they do?
They make the sign, the Christian church, sign of the cross, and then begin to head off.
Can I intercept?
Yeah, sure.
As well. Are any of them are they the priests from the library, or?
Indeed, one of them is not from the library, but it would appear to be Quirelius IV, the aboon of the church, who originally met. Ah, gentlemen, you are here to participate in our cleansing of bad luck.
Indeed. I'm very interested in I was trying to make sense of it. I have some interest in this kind of thing. as does my
Oh,
friend
you're a
Alfred here.
theologian, sir?
Yes, of a sort. I was trying to work out the root of the actual what was going on.
Well, that's very easy, sir. Faith in our Lord Jesus Christ.
There seems to be something a little bit beyond that. Most of the Christian faith, I could grasp from there, but there seemed to be something further to the cleansing that was a driver as such.
Just words. We focus on the symbolisms of Christianity. We focus on bringing the blessings of his Lord Jesus Christ upon the people, asking God for guidance and protection, and to remove the bad influences of the devil.
Interesting. Do you happen to have somewhere an original text? Because I was after speaking about this, I tried to find reference to it in the library, but couldn't see any. Do you happen to have an original text of the cleansing?
I'm sure there'll be something in the library. Guess now you know what you're looking for. Perhaps you'll find it.
Strange. And just to be certain, how old is this? How old is the cleansing? How long has it been done?
Well, the Aboon before me performed it. He taught me the rituals. I would say the Aboon before him taught him. 100, 150 years, perhaps.
But it's only recent then. It's not something that's.
As far as I know, yes. Maybe the histories of Axum again will give you a hint as to when the ritual was first.
Sadly, no. I've looked in the books, and there's no mention of the cleansing ritual at all. Not who carried them out, where they were carried, when they were carried out, who attended, nothing.
Well, it is one of those things that we do when there is a need, when the community lets us know that there is a need. They're concerned about the presence of the Italians and what that means for Axum and Ethiopia.
Interesting. Anyway, thank you for your time. Very much appreciated.
And he kind of gives you a little bow and continues on.
I don't think I've got anything that would pick up whether he was lying or not when he was, but
I have assess honesty. I could be in reading his body language.
Do you want to spend?
Yeah. How much do I need to spend?
1 point if you want.
Just see if anything was suspect or he was lying about certain things.
As far as he was concerned, he was telling the truth. He was a bit surprised that you or Ralph couldn't find any references in the library to the ritual.
Can I just, Ralph? Didn't you tell us that in that book you read in the secret room that didn't the father of the young man do like a cleansing ritual on something? In was it the Black Peaks of Pannonia? Or am I thinking of something different? I can't find the handout to have a quick reread, but didn't he get a cloth with water from somewhere and is that the first or second paragraph?
Second to last paragraph, very end of the first page.
Yep, that's it. And that was back in like the 400s.
Yep.
So that implies that this ritual potentially summons this toad-like thing.
No,
Or gives some
stops it.
hallucinations.
Oh yeah. Or stops it, and that was the after effect of maybe doing it too late.
Possibly.
Whatever it did, it certainly gave him a vision of the toad-like beast.
It did indeed.
Did the crowds look ecstatic at all? Like something had actually passed over them?
No. There was a bit of hand waving, the usual kind of thing that you get, but sorry, yeah, a bit of hand waving, but the kind of thing that you would expect, Alfred, when you've been to church back home, it's a bit like that. Not too far off the sort of the black gospel type churches that you see in the 1930s, right?
Yeah.
All the singing and the swaying and the standing up and stuff like that. Just so you know, the Azana stone is actually to the northeast of Axon. It is north of the obelisk fields.
And that's on top of the Cult of Wazaba's original stone, is it?
Yes.
Are the crowds thinned enough for us to get closer to the stone? Get some closer photos.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
So the church,
For all intents and purposes, that's in the hidden book, isn't it? It's not in the actual book.
correct.
So
Yes.
for him, there would be nothing. If he just went into the normal library, it'd be like,
Yeah.
yep, there's no mention of
Yeah.
the cleansing ritual at all.
No, which is why he was surprised when you hadn't heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
So how big is this obelisk? How long would it take to walk around it?
The obelisk that they were worshipping around.
Yeah.
Probably 10 feet at the base.
Not too big then.
Rises up to about 70 to 80 feet at the top.
Okay, yeah. I'll walk around the bottom and see if anything looks unusual in the stone, like in the markings out of place or something that could reveal the location or possibly be a hidden entrance or something.
Okay. Short answer to this is no. Do you have geology?
No.
Do you have archaeology?
No.
Okay. So it's very difficult for you to, as far as you can tell, looks like a solid piece of mineral or crystalline based stone. The markings seem to be uniform. I mean, they're different on each side, but you can't read them, so you don't know what, if anything, they're saying or what they mean.
I'll back up a bit to take a photo to try and get all the writings that I can. But
the stone doesn't look out of place.
Seeing Alfred looking at what he's doing. Alfred, what are you doing? What are you looking for?
let's see if there's any entrance or indication of an entrance to a secret place. They mentioned the Chamber of Silence. I know it was another obelisk, but it could be something similar in this.
That's right. I'm going to put my hands on it and just feel all the way around. It's the base of it, and around the sort of waist height and whatever, and go around the whole of the obelisk. And I'd like to spend a point of geology.
Okay. That's good. So, I mean, it's very interesting. Glancing around, you can see that many are carved from solid blocks of nepheline syenite, a hollow crystalline plutonic rock that consists mainly of nepheline and alkali feldspar. Very similar to granite, but it is more crystalline in nature. They are anywhere between 3 foot in length to over 100 feet at the tallest. The very large obelisks seem to depict 10 to 13 story tall buildings. Those that have doors carved at the feet of the stelae have been carved to look like wood. Some even have locks carved in them. Further up the monoliths, certainly the taller ones, there are what appears to be 4-holed windows hewn into the rock. Some of them have square beam ends that seem to project from the stelae walls, giving a sense of structural support. The back of a stela is completely plain except for one circle carved near the apex. At the centre of the circle is 4 spheres grouped together with a 5th sphere touching the group's outer edge. Some of the images of these are freaking awesome. It's like a really cool place to go. See if I post post this one.
This is where Joseph touches something and a Stargate opens.
You get a sense of what I'm kind of describing, because this one looks like it's a tall building with lots of windows and a door at the bottom.
Yeah.
Posted it in the chat, in the Discord chat.
And how old are these things?
They are very old. 13th century, possibly older. Fourteenth century.
Not that old in the grand scheme of things, is it? Quite modern.
4th century common era. 79-foot tall phonolite stelae. Weighs about 160 tons. 2 false doors at the base and features decorations resembling windows on all sides.
With a conservatory on the side, I think.
No balcony.
Yeah, it'd look great with a south-facing balcony, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If there was an entrance, there'd probably have to be a lift to go down or something. It's not big enough to.
Yeah, not
I'm
really.
sure.
Well, maybe the entrance is covered up down underground.
Yeah. There might not even be an entrance.
Very interesting photos.
Yeah.
I'm sure I read somewhere that over the years that the ground rises around things, which is why archaeologists now dig for things. So it's like, you always find ruined towns buried underground. So maybe this is the case. Maybe this obelisk is deeper, and the ground has risen around it.
Interesting. There's not a huge amount beyond that you can get. The one that you're looking at, the doors appear to be carved rather than secret doors, kind of thing. Doesn't seem to be anything odd about them. Looking around at some of the others, some of them are similar. They have similar kind of design with these fake windows going up and around. Others are just stone blocks, small in nature.
Anything else we need from these, or is it on to the next part?
Well, we still need to see the stone, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we also
Yeah.
need to find out where they're digging.
Oh, I spotted them over there, watching. So I'm guessing it's that direction. That's whether they'll object to us actually looking around,
They
even if
can't.
we haven't got a pass.
Yeah, they can't object. We have a pass.
Yeah, there's nobody here to enforce it, really, is there?
We're here to enforce it.
Yeah.
And in the rights of the Ethiopian mayor's office, we're right. He told us we're allowed to visit and look as long as we don't start digging.
Yeah. Okay. How far away is it from here? Walking distance, or
To where?
to the other obelisks where
50
the
yards.
right? Okay.
50, 60 yards.
I'll start taking photos,
Okay.
including the EBA into the photos.
Okay. Well, they've kind of disappeared now.
Okay.
All you've got is a group of about 10 or so labourers that are just sort of sat lounging in the sun, tools and things in piles nearby, but clearly not doing any activity or expecting to do any activity in the near future.
Head over their direction as to where they've been working and have a look.
Okay. They appear to have... Well, where they've been digging, it's hard to tell. There's no sign of digging outside of the tent, certainly. There is a large tent that covers one end of the fallen, broken stele. The end is most probably the original base. There are 2 or 3 other tents dotted around. A couple of them are open-sided. There are several individuals that are kind of sat around some of these tents outside or just inside them that you to your eye, they are probably muscle and definitely packing.
I was thinking guards.
Probably 6 of them in total, but they're just kind of lounging around. Most of them are locals as well. You kind of, the laborers are just eating, drinking, smoking, talking, laughing, sleeping, but not a lot else.
Okay.
So there's one tent that is currently has the flap closed, that is kind of covering the main base of the stele, and to one end you can see part of the fallen stele kind of sticking out from one side.
I'll start taking snaps and things and capture some of the muscle as well while I'm actually just
Okay.
taking random snaps about.
All right. One of them, after you kind of sweep the camera over his general direction, he kind of says something to somebody and then kind of gets up, kind of cracks his knuckles a little as he starts walking over towards you. Bonjour, monsieur.
Good day?
Ah, English.
Yes. Well, American.
American, English. You all sound same to me. Why are you taking photos?
For my colleague's book here. We have a pass. Show him the pass.
Takes it from you and he looks at it. And he kind of hands it back to you with a little bit of a growl, kind of a, Do you want tour?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Go there. And he points to the tent.
Is that the big one with the closed flap?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
he laughs. I not give tour. You go see the boss. He give tour.
Okay.
I watch you, he says, cracks his knuckles again,
Okay.
shrugs his shoulders, and goes back, sits down on his chair, kind of lounges a little bit. But his hand is now on his lap, not too far away from the bulge that you can see in his linen jacket.
I'm glad you said bulge in his jacket.
Yeah. I was sort of where he was going with that.
Just means really, really happy to see you.
This is going to sound even worse now. Does it look more like a gun or something else?
Gun.
Right. I was thinking a different. Yeah, that's going to sound even worse again.
So that's kind of his dress. Sort of very traditional dress. He doesn't have a rifle and he doesn't have a bullet belt, and he certainly doesn't have a camel. But it gives you a kind of a general impression of how he looks.
Okay.
He kind of sits down, watches you. Now you kind of, now you've got his attention. You can follow his, and there is probably 3 rifles, Italian design, in kind of like that 3 tripod kind of just inside the tent. And on a table nearby, you can see what looks like an Italian army ammo box that's open.
They're expecting trouble. Do to inquire about Cthulhu or just kind of wonder?
No, that's
I'm not the one to approach them if we are going to have to.
okay. Money talks.
Depends, really. Depends if he'll tell us some places are off limits. But then we'd go and look there anyway. So we could find out more by what he doesn't show us, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
it may be worth it. They know we're here anyway now.
Yeah.
Or we can at least introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
And we could say we've just been offered a tour, but we don't need one. We can walk round. But we thought we'd just let you know that we're on your site.
That sounds good.
So, you go over to the tent.
I'll hold back a little bit because I'm not the.
How are you doing this? Are you kind of just... What are you doing? You're just going to push the thing out, the flap open and go in, or are you going to call out, or...
No, I'm Joseph. I'm going to push the flap open and walk in.
Okay.
I'm going to time clicking this with the camera around my neck. I'm going to click on clicking it as the tent opens to capture what's inside it, but not hold it up to take it.
We've had this conversation before, haven't we? 1930s, it's film cameras are... Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. You push open the flap and walk in.
I'll be hello.
A man leant over the table, sort of stands up and turns around with a little bit of surprise on his face. He looks a little bit like this.
He's just got a red ball in his mouth.
And we'll go take a 10-minute break.
No.
As he pulls out an Uzi 9mm.
It's not Suleiman, is it?
No, you've not seen this person before.
Right, okay.
10 minutes. Back at...
Okay.
No.
Okay.
You and me both. Yep, that sounds good. I was on holiday for last week, and I went in for the last 3 days because they had nobody to cover. Oh yes. Just to let you know, the stream froze and broke up about 53 minutes in. I caught it a little bit later on, and it's about 5 minutes later. So I'll try and splice it. Yeah. I think where we go with this is interesting because if we do like you say and ask them to show us around, and like Sorentar said, where they don't show us are going to be the points of interest. But it also makes me wonder where they got these machine guns from. Oh, I can't wait to see that.
Fast. And then no game on the 21st because I'm heading to Nightwish.
Oh, right, okay.
Nightwish, where's that?
Wembley OVO Arena.
Oh.
Then they're a band I know of and recognise when I hear them, but I've never really listened to their stuff.
Roddy's seen them at least once, haven't you? Nightwish.
Yes. Where did I see them? I saw them at.
Milton Keynes, didn't you?
I saw them at Bloodstock. They
Bloodstock.
were headliners at Bloodstock.
Oh, right.
On one of the days. Brilliant live. Absolutely fantastic.
So I've seen Hailstorm a few times, and Lacuna Coil I saw at the Download Festival. They were awesome.
I'd love to see Lacuna Coil live.
Yeah, they were very, very good.
Yeah, I've seen Hailstorm a fair few times. We're going watching them in December. They're playing with Alter Bridge. So that should be a good gig. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen them with Alter Bridge 3 times now. You will get Lizzie coming up on stage with Miles for at least one track.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 of the times I went, Shinedown was playing as well.
Nice.
So we had Shinedown, Hailstorm, and Alter Bridge all together. I think it was a brilliant night because Lizzie came on with Brent as well. Is it Brent or Brett? Brent, I think it is. The singer for Shinedown, and their voices go together very well.
So Kira Max playing Winter's End. Is it Winter's End she's playing?
Yes. Yep.
Are you going?
Toying with the idea, yeah.
Nice. Then we discovered Volby. I think Volby are playing in December.
Where?
I don't know. Oh, O2, I think. Sorry, not O2, the OVO Arena.
Where's that?
London, Wembley.
It's damn far.
And then I I want to go and see Sabaton. Have you seen those?
Sabaton, great, really good live. Yeah.
Yeah, not seen that.
Are they a
Volbeat,
German
like to see it.
band?
Sabaton.
Dunno, probably not.
I
I'm
don't know.
probably insulting them. There's probably somebody
they-
on.
Are they like Swedish or something?
Oh, it might be Sweden.
remember.
Somebody will be watching the stream in 10 years' time and go, "No, they're bloody not."
Yeah, I have to
They're from
admit,
Brixton.
Swedish. Yeah, the Swedish.
Swedish.
I really like the new Volbeat album, so I'd like to see them.
Yes, Sabaton headlined at Bloodstock as well.
I haven't heard any of their stuff. I've heard of them, but I've not. Well, if I've heard their stuff, I don't know it. They ones that were around about the same time as Manowar and all those type of bands.
It's similar kind of music, yeah.
Yeah.
So Nightwish have been supported by Beast in Black
Don't know them.
and Termion Catilot.
That name sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't
Termion
know.
Catilot are freaking awesome. The band names are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Hang on. I will go back to the game in a second. So we were like, oh, do we need to go and see these? But then you've got MC Racker P, Master Bates, Bobby Undertaker, Run Q, DQ, and Shag You.
Proper names.
Yeah.
Proper metal names.
Only seen Shinedown once, and I think it was on a tour with. I think it was Blackstone Cherry's first tour.
Yeah, they're
Can't
good
remember.
mates.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Shinedown at Download, and the singer from Blackstone Cherry, who was one of the headlining acts, Shinedown were on one of the side stages, and he came in and just walked up, climbed up onto the stage and joined in. Brilliant to watch that. But I've seen Shinedown probably about 6 times now. They're one of my favourite bands, really. The later stuff, not as so much as their earlier albums, but their earlier albums, some superb tracks on them. I think Amaryllis was the last one that I would have raved about, but there are nice tracks on all the others. But yeah, Blackstone Cherry, I'd like to see again. I only saw them headlining. They were very good.
Yeah, I've seen them a fair few times as well.
I've not been to concerts in a long, long time. In fact, the last one was Shinedown, Alter Bridge, and Hailstone.
I suppose the nearest to you for Volbeat would be Monday, 19th of December in Nottingham.
Why aren't they playing Manchester?
Because I guess Cardiff's a bit too far.
Yeah. Nottingham's really a bit too far.
You made it for Clan UK, do?
I know. I don't tend to drive long distances anymore. I hate motorway driving.
All right, let's get back to it. So that individual kind of turns and gentleman, in a very heavy. Actually, he would probably say it in French to start with. Does anybody speak French?
Yeah, Joseph.
Yep, I do.
Basically, in French, he says, "Gentlemen, you seem to be lost. Can I help you?"
And in fluent French, I'll reply saying, "No, we're not lost. We were told that if we came in here, you could show us around." Your man outside said so. We're looking for the tour.
A slight sort of almost kind of, I don't know this kind of cross between resignation, incredulation, and he's gone and done it again kind of thing goes across his face for a brief second before he sort of says, I am sorry, but we are not a tour operator. I think you've been misled, sir.
Ah. Well, my sincere apologies. We have these passes from the ministry that says we can go wherever you want in the North Fields here, and take photos and notes from my colleague's book that he's writing, and just as long as we don't dig anything, heaven forbid.
Show me.
I shall whip out my pass.
He looks at it. English?
American.
Yanks. So, a tour, you say?
It'd be, I mean, if you have the time, obviously. You seem very busy here.
Well, I guess I need to make time. I can't have you walking around our dig site
Is he in English now?
Yeah, unguided. I wouldn't want you to disturb anything.
Well, ultimately, the passes say you can't stop us, but we've come here as a courtesy.
And I appreciate that, sir. There's a noise outside the tent flap, followed by Luke! And he just, gentlemen, I need to go and attend this. Please wait here. I'll be a few moments. And he kind of pushes past you and goes outside, leaving you alone in the tent. There appears to be, so what you're in is a fairly large kind of marquee style tent. In a couple of places there are sort of one end, just the other side of a piece of the obelisk that's fallen, that's covered. There are a couple of other sort of tented areas, sort of cordoned off, with mosquito nets and stuff like that. You can make out hammocks there. Certainly looks like a couple of people at least could sleep here. There's a table with a number of documents on the table, and you can make out what appears to be a doorway that's open and seems to head downwards in darkness.
Oh, it's the ground.
Any sign of anyone else being about in some of the other rooms or anything?
Not in the tent where you are, no.
And anything on the table?
Yeah, there appears to be a field typewriter. There are several. There's a couple of texts. There's a writing desk. On the writing desk, which is what he was looking. He was kind of no, actually, not what he was bent over. There appears to be a couple of documents. What appears to be a telegram and just a normal document. Next to the field typewriter, there's a travelling bench of wooden canvas, and then a drafting table, which is what one of which is what he was stood over, that seemed to contain various pieces of paper and notes, maps, etc.
Photo.
No.
Yeah, Ralph takes some photos.
Say, without touching anything, I'm going to take photos of these if I can. Of the documents.
I'll edge towards the edge of the tent to listen for him to come back.
Okay.
I was ahead of you on that, but I was muted. I was asking about anyone else.
I'm going to carefully and curiously look at this entranceway into the ground.
Okay, goes down into darkness. there appears to be stairs leading downwards, maybe 10, 15 feet down, and then you can see the flickering of faint sort of lamplight.
Could I stupidly go down the stairs to the bottom just to see what I can see?
Yeah.
Remember what I said at the beginning of the night?
Wibble?
You're the one that always gets attacked. And now you're wandering off on your own into a... Yeah, Mummy's going to turn up, isn't he?
So down the bottom of the stairs, there appears to be a number of small rooms that branch off, a long corridor that goes further down. What's interesting, on the lintel above the door, where the stairs reach the bottom here, is this symbol. Can you see the symbol?
The surfboard.
Yes.
Yeah, or the eye.
Now, obviously, only you can see it, Joseph, and you don't. It says it appears to be Aztec. You don't know that.
No. Okay, I'm going to go back up again. I don't have to quote down here, so it's a quick, literally a quick scout down there and a quick back up again.
Okay.
And I'll try to memorise that symbol that I've seen.
Yeah. The drafting table seems to have a number of diagrams and plans of the northern field, the location of each of the stelae, and a rough sketch of what you think could be this. Well, it is this obelisk, but in particular, seems to be the door going down a set of stairs, some chambers. A couple of the chambers are marked on them, and then another sort of door at the end that seems to go further down into the ground. You can hear the conversation sort of stops, and you won't hear footsteps because it's kind of sand / grass / mud turf outside. But
Cough.
you do get the sense of somebody's coming to the tent flap.
Yeah, I will cough lightly and move away from the tent flaps.
Okay. The tent opens and the man comes back in. I apologise, gentlemen. I guess introductions first. My name is Luke Fausch. It is a pleasure.
I'll help behind that. Joseph Westmore, pleased to meet you.
He takes your hand and shakes it.
Alfred Elliot.
So, I guess...
My name's Ralph Haas.
Mr. Haas, Mr. Elliot, Mr. Westmore. Very good. A tour then, gentlemen.
If you don't mind.
What can I show you?
What's down here?
Ralph.
Well, let's start here. And he takes you to his drafting table and he kind of pulls one of the maps out and he kind of places it on the table. And it's a hand-drawn scale map of the field with all of the various stelae marked. So you can see the king stelae and where you are and stuff. And he spends a few moments explaining the layout and what they've discovered. He explains that he works for an overseas operation, that hires some of the best archaeologists and historians, forensic evidence collection type people as well. Calls them the Emporium of Bangkok Antiquities. And he explains that he's here with his group of archaeologists to investigate the site before the heathens remove it and destroy anything worth saving or recording. And he pulls out a couple more and he kind of brief explanation of what they found. So underneath there are several chambers, sort of vaulted chambers. Far end there's a door that goes further down to what appears to be an entrance into an old tomb. And it's into that tomb that they've finally gained access, and they're currently cataloguing what they found in there, which is why he says there appears to be no digging.
Okay.
But shall I show you, gentlemen?
Oh, yes, please.
It
Enthusiasm on my voice.
takes you down, and as you say, he shows you this thing, and you come down the stairs. Ralph, you can't help but see the symbol kind of etched into the plinth just above the doorway. It is interesting.
I will
in
pause
that
and draw it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's fairly dark down here, so the camera's not going to work. I wouldn't have brought a flash with me.
There are
I've got a torch. By
there
the way.
are
Take a
torches
torch.
and lanterns, so we can hold a torch or a lantern up to
Yeah.
take the photo the best you can.
Yeah.
Interesting that
I'll do.
the symbolisms on this, as far as you can tell, this is Aztec in nature. It is the symbol for flint, sharp stone, or dagger. And the imagery brings to mind the dagger that you found in the lockbox back in Savannah. But there's something else. There seems to be some indentations in the wall just to the left of it, but they're quite eroded and quite faded. And no matter how hard you kind of shine your light, you just can't get the light in such a way that you can make them out. They're very faint.
Well, I'll try and take a photo. Maybe if we blow up the photo, we might get a bit of luck. I'll take the best photos I can for.
You wonder, though, if maybe a rubbing might help?
Yeah. That was my next. We'll get the photo, and then I'll take some paper out off the thingy and rub next to it.
Okay. Holding the light up as you rub this, it appears to be gaze script again, which you've encountered in other places here. The name Waziba.
Oh. Okay.
As in cult of.
Yeah. Which is slightly worrying. Let's just hope this isn't his doing.
Yeah, I'll ignore that. I'll take the rubbing, put it away, and
Yeah.
no doubt he's paused to look back at us. And I'll make as though I've I'm looking at the thingy as well. And I go, that symbol's a long way from home.
Indeed, it seems to us to be a little out of place. We think, whilst it appears to be of Aztec nature, we wonder whether it's a pure coincidence. And it is in fact more African. Bear with me, I've got a picture missing.
Yeah,
It takes you further down the passageway. The first two rooms, one on either side, you can see modern things in there: crates, table, chairs, low sort of travel beds. Gentlemen, apologies, but this is these are rooms we've taken as our personal sleeping quarters. And you can see that on the left-hand side there is a rather burly-looking man. Quite, give me a second, finish this. Quite well built, wearing a sort of a white linen shirt, sleeves rolled up. There's some tattoos on his arm, and you just get the sense that he is well. He looks after himself very well. He's muscular, more so than Luke. If I may introduce you to Mr. Kramer. He is our security here. He's responsible for ensuring that we remain unharmed. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's a little friction between the local populace and the presence of the Italian army, and occasionally the local populace gets us confused. And so Mr. Kramer, the man kind of looks up from his chair where he's kind of reading the paperback. He looks up and he nods at you. And so we rely on Mr. Kramer and his associates to ensure that we are safe.
A very wise precaution.
That's what I thought.
To be honest, the locals, you can excuse the locals for getting you confused, because to them you're both foreign interests poking around in their culture. So
Indeed.
understandable.
That, I guess, explains that then. Shall we? He takes you through and he's explaining that the other rooms, to the best of their knowledge, they could have been burial chambers, but they appear to have been left kind of unused. Certainly there was no signs of burials in here when they uncovered the area. The takes you down to the far end where there is another kind of what would have been a stone door, but it looks like the stone door has kind of collapsed or broken. You notice that actually, it's not a stone door. It's a hole in the ground. A large piece of stone has been kind of pushed back. On the stone, there appears to be a false door carved into it. And looking at the shape of this hole and the shape of this stone, looks like the stone was designed to sit with a small indentation on the back that would have fitted directly over the hole, which is where the door would have been. So to give you the sense of a false door in the floor, if you like. What's interesting, though, is that on this piece of stone, there is another set of writing in Guise. And to your eye, just have a look at one. Oh, that's just a stone door. To your eye, Ralph, it says, oh, it's a cartouche. It says, by the hand of Royal Azana, open not this cursed or doomed tunnel / or wormwork. It takes you a little bit.
Ralph
a
will
li-
Ralph will kneel by this
Okay.
a little bit and just have a look and shake his head and stand up.
Okay. Is there a friend? Is there a problem, Mr. Hess?
I was just reading the warning on the door.
Ah, yes. My associate, Mr. Sullivan, believes it's some kind of warning or curse, but you know how these things are. They're just there to frighten the natives off, as they say, and not really applicable to ourselves.
In my experience, they're normally quite factual. So
Fascinating. Well, come. Unfortunately, down here, there's not a lot to see. We and it takes you down, and literally, the room below seems to have been mostly filled in with rubble and mud and soil. So whatever's in here, it's really hard to tell how big this chamber is. They've uncovered maybe 10 feet by 10 feet maximum. And here and there are shards on the floor. And they do have kind of little notes and numbers on pieces of paper by them. And he kind of, well, this is as far as we got. We've been sort of looking at this, but there's a lot of work here, and the locals are a little, well, as you said, they take such warnings seriously, and it's been very difficult to convince them to carry on. So we've decided to try and take another tact and see if there's any reference to these in the library under the church. But I think our work here is close to being done.
The jazz look familiar as to what they could be.
No. Bits of pottery, maybe.
Not teeth, then.
Not teeth. No. Bits of pottery, probably. It leaves you to take some photos and best you can with the light sources available. There isn't anything really that gives you any kind of help, I guess. There's certainly nothing perhaps to indicate that this is the Chamber of Silence that Akuna spoke of.
I wonder whether it's the burial place of Azuna. No, not Azuna. Ziba.
Ziba, yeah.
Well, gentlemen, have you seen enough?
Out of character, can I just ask, the tunnel entrance was at the tip of the falling spire, wasn't it? Obelisk.
It was at the base.
Oh, right, the base of it. Right, sorry.
Yeah. So basically, where at the base there was a door into the base, and that's where you went, and then you went down a flight of stairs, about 15 feet or so, to where all those chambers were. At the end of these chambers was this other hole that was covered by this stone. You've gone down there, maybe another 10, 15 feet into this chamber.
No, sorry, my thinking was, sorry, I thought it might have been at the tip of it when it had fallen over, and then dug down, and hopefully the entrance we're looking for would be at the base, but that's fine, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
So we're saying that this has fallen over and the door was underneath it? So
It would have been in the base of the obelisk when it was stood up.
Right, yeah.
I'll go take a photo of the inscription on the warning.
Okay. No worries. You return back up to the top. There is a pot of coffee and some mugs set on one of the drafting tables. And Luke invites you to partake of coffee and cake.
So, Luke, what do you think you'll find down there?
I'm not sure. I'm beginning to think it might be a dead end, but we're waiting for Mr. Sullivan to give us more instructions until he decides. After all, he's the expert. Until he decides on whether we continue or we wrap it up, we're kind of at an impasse.
Everything I've read so far points towards the fact that the choice of words, dead end, may be a good choice of words.
Yes. And of course, our benefactor, he's getting a little bit anxious about the cost. And anxious about treading on the toes of our Italian friends.
Oh, it's just the obelisk they're hoping to take away, is it? Which they already told me.
I don't know why they'd want to take it away, but
Well, it's already in 5 pieces. Does it have to take it apart?
Yes, indeed. That would be very easy for the Italians, of course, to move it. Personally, I don't think they should, but I don't wish to get in the way.
Forgive me for asking, what was your actual the purpose of the visit from your benefactor?
My benefactor hasn't visited. Well, he was exploring. Wanted us to explore some avenues of interest around the ancient Ethiopians and the founding of the church here.
Does your benefactor have a name?
Does my
Not the organisation, but the person that's requested this.
of course. Yes, Mr. Lohman.
So is it Layman or Lowman?
Lowman, Lowman.
I was half expecting travel. I wonder if he's a member of this EBA. Is there a list of members of the EBA? The people that run it?
Not that you've seen.
Lowman, you say? Not a name I'm familiar with.
No.
Although his interests do pique my interest, as well as his crosses with the subject matter of, or some of the subject matter of the book I'm intending to write.
Oh. Well, I can. Next time I'm in communication with him, I can certainly pass on a correspondence address if you wish.
Yeah, where is he? As in, which country?
Oh, he travels here and there. I think his current residence is somewhere in Bangkok. Gentlemen, I really must
Yes, well, thank you for the tour. You get on, and we'll continue with our search of the fields.
Thank you.
Very enlightening. Thank you.
Excellent. I will do that for sure. Thank you, gentlemen. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I wish you all the best in your writing endeavours, Mr. Haas. I would definitely look forward to reading your book when it's out.
Thank you, Mr. Felsh.
Okay. You head back out of the tent, and what are you doing next?
Have a little block.
Repeat that again.
Sorry, the Azuna stone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can I head over to the stone? As you kind of walk away from the tent, you note, kind of glancing, Alfred, certainly you would do this, glancing over your shoulder, you see the muscular Mr. Kramer kind of has come to the tent entrance, and he is watching you. Now, obviously, he has a shirt on, but that gives you some idea of how he's built.
Okay.
But he's certainly, he has got slight stubble. His hair's a bit messy, and he's kind of leaning on the sort of the tent pole by the doorway, casually watching you with a small knife in his hand, picking at his nails.
No bolts in the side of his neck.
No bolts in the side of his neck.
Okay.
The journey over to the Mizuna Stone is uneventful. Now the crowds have very much parted and returned to their day-to-day life. So the Azana Stone. It is set off a small, narrow, muddy track. A small stone building on the edge of a few stands of trees. A guard stands outside, holds his hand up and says something in Italian.
English?
Pass.
Show the pass.
Go.
Thank you.
Inside this rough stone building, a literal stone stands almost but not quite in the middle.
Sloppy workmanship, that.
There you go.
That's
The stone is carved on all four sides in a mixture of Geese, Greek, and another language. Ralph, you would have known that the other language is Sabaean. The stone itself is viewed as the African's Rosetta Stone. It testifies to King Ezana's conversion to Christianity, subjugation of various heathen kingdoms surrounding ancient Axum. It will take you a couple of hours or so to sort of dig into the translation, probably a bit longer than that, to try and get a sense of what the stone is saying. But you should be able to see under the inscription a translation. Ezana, king of Axum, Himyar, Raiden, Kush, Saba, Salhin, Sarad of the Ethiopians and the Beja, king of kings, son of the invisible Mahrem, waged war against the Beja people and sent also his brother Shahazana and Hadifa, his brothers Shahazana and Hadifa to fight them. When they reached the country, the 6 kings prostrated themselves before them with their people. When they prostrated themselves, they sent them away from their country with their children, their families, and their cattle. The numbers of the 6 kings' people were 4,400. That of their cows was 3,012. That of their sheep, 5,224. That of their domestic animals, 677. And they fed them from that day by sending them 20,020 spelt breads every day and lots of meat. Afterwards they gave them lots of beer and wine to drink for 4 months. When they came to us in Axum, we dressed their men largely, and we adorned their kings, and we sent them to live in the lands of Mecca, a province of our country. And they also used to feed them there, and we gave each king a load of cows, which turned out to be 25,000 for the 6 kings. And we gave as many to Mahren, who is our creator, one statue of gold, 1 of silver, 3 of bronze. And I introduced this inscription, and I established and protected it for the heathen, and the earth, and Mahrem, who is our creator. And if there is anyone who damages this stone, they shall become blind, and harm shall be upon them. And their kinsmen and children shall be taken away from the country, and the one who destroys it, he will be torn apart. And because we established it, one shall acknowledge us and our homeland forever. And to Mahram we give Sawat and Bedi.
I'll wait for Ralph to actually translate that into English.
Yep.
That way over my head.
Translated, read out, and
That's. Did I misinterpret that, or were they referencing another deity? One that we haven't come across.
what religion is that? Is it just their word for God?
Yes. God of the Axumites and the Himayarites. Son of the main god Ashtar, and his counterpart was Bahir, god of the sea, deity of war, comparable to Mars or Ares.
There you go.
Waziba and Azano were brothers, weren't they?
Yeah.
Didn't they mention another brother there in that? Or was another name that I hadn't heard before? And they mentioned that Azana and somebody went out or was sent to do something or other right near the beginning.
Shah, Azana, and Hadifa.
Yeah, it was Adifa.
Just one of his brothers.
So there's more than just those two brothers then.
Well, it looks like there's Azana and his brother Shah Azana and his brother Hadifa. So two brothers.
Okay. But Waziba's not mentioned.
No.
Should we move on?
Indeed, let's go.
All right.
Where would you like to see next, Rolf?
I think it'd be going round the other columns. You had a theory, Alfred, did you not, that we'd be looking for a doorway below them?
Yeah. But as Joseph mentioned, it could have been buried by now in sand, so we're looking for signs that there possibly is a door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now we know that there was a marking underground that's in Aztec. There may be something on the exterior that links to that.
Yeah.
Anything really.
Anything that looks out of place.
Mm-hmm.
Aztec writings on one of these, or hell,
The time it would take you. So for the remainder of the day, you go back to the northern fields and you start kind of going around each of the stelae and kind of looking at them, examining them. You won't get through half the field, so you'd probably need to come back the following day.
Yeah, that's fine.
But of what you see, there is no evidence of doors that actually exist on any of the other stelae.
The rubble is burying the chamber, potentially.
Very possibly.
See, I'm having flashbacks to how they buried the one in the volcano. Did they do the same type of thing for this chamber?
Yeah, wasn't that the lava flow tubes though, wasn't it?
They did something to, yeah, to disrupt the lava tubes.
Oh,
but,
yeah, it blows up.
yeah, they basically did that.
Right. So they're digging from the base, and they're going. Was it west? I think.
They were going down, weren't they?
They mostly went down. They cleared out the rubble from around the base. They discovered the doorway, and then they went down.
Because that's what the warning said not to do.
Yeah,
That's how I remember. So something is going to be coming back from the other side and potentially kill them.
Well, my theory was to maybe, or my thought was to maybe go to the above where they're trying to dig and dig down. But
Okay.
we're not allowed to dig, are we? So
No.
You don't have a pass to give you access to digging, and then you'd probably need to hire labourers and things,
And fight off the EBA.
and then potentially fight off the EBA as well.
But now we know what they're doing. If we tell Kuna that, maybe he'll get the Italians to do something to try and drive them off.
Well, after scouring parts of the northern field, walking around it. I mean, you could probably walk around most of them, but you wouldn't necessarily be able to spend a lot of time examining them in detail. You return back to the camp. One of the things that Alfred does is, with Acuna, he gets access to photography and developing room, and you develop some of your photos on the basis that you were going to, you sort of say, look, help me do this, and to Acuna, and I'll give you some of these photos, so you can produce 2 of each photo. A couple of things that grab your attention and bits that you don't give, or obviously you don't give access, you don't give to Acuna. First and foremost, the piece of paper that had been typed up is a site report from it seems to be signed Hussein Suleiman. Savitri. Unfortunately, the quick successes I reported to you in my last were a short-lived enjoyment that only served as a precursor to the rapid disappointment of the past fortnight. Cursory survey of the northern field has confirmed that the other Axumite stellae are merely imitative of the original obelisk. We have therefore focused our intention wholly upon it. Fajol's survey of the obelisk has confirmed the presence of an unusual metallic network within the plutonic stone He reports a strange, scuffling, groping sensation from this network which seemed to be reaching out for my mind as my own thoughts touched upon it. Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately for Fajol, the breaking of the obelisk upon its collapse has also shattered this network. All of this seems to corroborate the strange crystalline structures evident within the mineralogical samples. Reconstruction of the obelisk may be possible, but my current recommendation is against this course of action. Measurements taken here strongly confirm to those taken by Brownlish at the Black Stone in Hungary, including those sampled using the non-traditional instrumentation. This suggests that it is merely another fissure site. My frustration with these false seeds of the forgotten old one grow ever larger. They seem to have been laced deep into the historical.
What?
I'm increasingly sceptical of any reference to the earthly pillars sealing the liar's prison. It is possible this iconography exists only to confuse the identity of the immense spikes of the fissure and create false correlations between the liar and the forgotten. We have not completely abandoned hope for the current site, however. Our local diggers have continued excavating the tomb beneath the stele. It appears that the looting and defacement of the tomb was extremely thorough before the resubsumation of the complex. In addition to the inscription I described in my last, which appears to post-date the defacing, only 2 additional inscriptions have survived. These symbols, however, have raised one possibility of potential interest. Before abandoning our work here, I'm going to spend some time researching at the Cathedral of Sion Mariam to see if the Book of Axum will verify my suspicions. We are keeping the diggers on retainer while these researches are completed. This will no doubt infuriate Daniel's purse strings, but it makes little sense to rehire them in a week if a further excavations prove necessary. And the other thing you got was a telegram. Now, because of the way they do the telegrams in these handouts, you get the whole telegram. It says, November 5th, 1934, Bangkok, Thailand, Luke Faushaw, representative, Central Office, Massawa, Eritrea, from Bangkok, Thailand. Continued funds approved through Banco d'Italia. She requests regular updates of findings. Preparations begun for Seven Valley. Daniel Lohman.
There's a woman above Daniel.
Is that our Seven Valley?
The only Seven Valley that comes to mind. Yes. It is indeed the English Seven Valley. And I think on that note, we're going to draw tonight to a conclusion.
Okay. Things that I really don't like there.
Yeah, you and me too.
Fissure sites, lots of them. Forgotten old one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that.
Yeah, as soon as you said they've got an old one, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Now, just to save confusion and to avoid a big, drawn-out nothing, you have found all the information you can find in this location.
Right.
Okay, need to do some reading then. Could you just spare and post these to Discord again,
Yeah.
just so we can read them there? I think I need to sit with them all open and
So
see if we can make any sense of them.
So that's hinting at either next stop is
That's Seven
Back
Valley.
to LA for the Trammel,
Hmm.
UK for Seven Valley, or Bangkok.
Correct.
I'm tempted for Trammel again.
Hmm. Could you be touching base with oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our employer. Janet.
Yeah, Janet West. Yeah, Winston Rogers.
Yeah.
Sorry, the mouthful of nuts.
So I've thrown into Discord. I've put the telegram, the inscription from the Azana Stone, the Hussein site report, and the Secret Book of Axum. So you've got the core clues from this location. Also means you can do a full reset.
Oh.
That'll be handy.
It's only a short, this one. So the Obelisk of Axum, which is what you've just gone through, is not an official part of the Eternal Lies campaign, but it was written to solve a problem. And that problem was the guy where I've got a lot of material from his own campaign, the players decided that Trammel's mansion was above their pay grade.
Yeah.
So the only clue, therefore, you have, which is what you've done, is Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And the Ethiopia is written just gives you lots of backstory about what actually happened in 1924 around the dig, the eruption, what Ayres remembers of the rituals and the cult, right? Doesn't give you anything to allow you to move the story forwards, would force you to go back and deal with Trammel, where you might still think right now Trammel is above your pay grade because you haven't a clue what's going on still. So the idea is that the Obelisk of Axum, which is linked because in the book it talks about Acuna going to do secure the obelisk for Mussolini, and if you look at real history, they took it back to Italy and they put it up. They erected it in 1937, and I think in 47 it was agreed to be returned to Ethiopia. So the idea of this is you get those two other locations, Bangkok and the Seven Valley, and it's up to you which one you go choose and chase down.
From a purely language point of view, England's the obvious one.
England would put you on a course back to Janet for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that in England, while they're just setting up there, is handy because then we're more ahead of, not ahead of them, but we're closer to, because they're finishing here, whereas there they'll just be starting.
Just bear in mind, the preparations were put in place about a month and a half ago in game time. It's currently the 12th of January, and that was something in November. It'll also take you probably the best part of a couple of weeks to get from where you are back to where your aeroplane is.
Yeah. Well, my other thought was as well is we'll get to England before Luke does.
Mm.
And I'd rather be in there, out there and gone before he gets there.
Okay.
The other thing with Bangkok is that all we've got is Daniel Lohman's name, and there's a woman in charge above him. Apart from that, we haven't got much over there.
I got lots of dollar. Lots of dollar.
Love you a long time.
Real
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, we'd never finish the campaign once he actually got over there, would we?
It just ruffles.
Yeah, we've just lost our money man. we need to find another member to join the team.
Yes, his credit rating is 0.
All right. So you're
Brilliant.
thinking Seven Valley next then?
I am.
Yeah. It's a good place to kind of decide where we can go there,
Mm,
and then we've got options where we want to go. We can either go west or east.
yeah. Again, Jersey thinks so purely on the fact that they'll be ahead of Luke because he's going to finish up here in about a week or so's time, isn't he?
Though I am remembering that every time I've played Cthulhu, whenever I've gone to England, that's where I've died. Never died anywhere else, just in England. So I've got that to look forward to.
That's a habit that he's breaking.
Yeah,
It's where shit happens.
yeah.
It's where shit gets real.
You think there is an address on the envelope of the telegram that you think could be an address in Bangkok?
Is that the WUA 375?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be able to trace it from that. Yeah.
So you could theoretically go to Bangkok and try and figure out where Loman is by using that as your source. But so as a reminder, no game next week because I'm in Belfast. We should be game on the week after, and then definitely not the game on the week after that.
No
So
problem.
we'll be off, on, and we should be on then for a run through to Christmas or close to Christmas.
Wonderful.
All right, I will prep. That gives me a couple of weeks to prep. So I'll prep Seven Valley. I'll prep Bangkok just in case you decide to change your mind because, players
do that, yeah.
You
Yeah.
change your mind. All right, gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed tonight's session. Remember, 2 experience points for this week. Reset your characters completely.
Yeah,
And
I'd like to say it's been enlightening, but it fucking hasn't. It's like, what the fuck is it?
Yeah.
So it's still very deliberate, right? At the moment, you're finding you've got one tiny piece of a puzzle that has been lost in a haystack of information.
Yeah.
And I don't think that tiny piece of information will drop into place until later. In fact, I know it won't. All right, gentlemen, I am falling asleep.
Yep.
I'm tired. Thank you for joining me on our little journey this evening.
Absolute
Thank
pleasure.
you for
And
taking us.
Nobody died on Halloween.
Yay!
Result.
Well, actually, I need to go to the kitchen to tie somebody up.
Yeah. It's difficult to kill players in this game at the moment because there's not a lot of action to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.